Hello everyone, MFPallytime here. As you might be able to tell, we have some, I've never heard of you. What's your name?
Hi, my name's Alan DeBeery. How's it going?
And what do you do exactly?
I'm not sure, actually. No, I'm the game director for Heroes.
Yeah.
Now, what that actually means, I have no idea, but that's the title they've given me.
That's a good title.
It's not a bad one.
I'm the game director at the station.
You are the game director right now. This looks like a director's booth.
So I was told that I would be interviewing the lead hero designer for Kel'Thuzad.
Yes.
And I was looking forward to that. I thought it'd be fun. And then you sat down. And I think it's going to be even more fun.
Yeah, I think we swapped some people up here, so
Cool.
I could join you.
Well, first things first, how's Germany been treating you?
Germany is fantastic. I've been to Germany many times, but this is my first time to Cologne and my first time to Gamescom.
Mm-hmm.
This event has always been a huge thing for us and Blizzard and the game.
Right.
But I've always been on the other end just preparing builds and preparing messaging and all that good stuff, and so it's awesome to finally be here.
In the short time that I talked to Mike Morheim in Vegas one time, he referred to this as BlizzCon Light or pre-BlizzCon.
This is quite the European BlizzCon, essentially. It's
true.
not as, like, our space is not as big as the entire BlizzCon, but overall this thing is just enormous.
There's always cool announcements here, for sure.
Yes.
This time we have Kel'Thuzad.
Yes, we do.
We also have reworks to, let me see if I can remember, Chromie, Leoric, Jaina, and Morales.
Correct.
How long do those reworks actually take? Like, ballpark it.
So it's different. We have some reworks that are more reactive. Sorry. Do you think I could get the game sound turned?
Yeah.
So I can...
There you go.
There we go. Okay.
So they blasted at you, don't they?
As much as I want to hear the game, I need to hear my own thoughts. So, yeah, some reworks are reactive, and they may actually be pretty quick. So if there's something going on at the time, and we actually want to make a change to... Because our heroes themselves, like new heroes, take so long, if currently, like, the feeling from the development team and also the community is that, you know what, we don't have enough viable, I don't know, tanks or supports. We can actually, rather than trying to quickly get out a new tank or support, which is just not possible, we can rework an existing one to make them more viable in the current meta.
Right.
So those are the more reactive ones. Then there's the ones where we actually feel, you know, talent diversity is not great. I don't know, this heroes just isn't modernized like the rest of our current heroes are in terms of our game design philosophy. So those ones might take a little longer, and they might take months potentially. Usually I would imagine we'd get stuff done within a time frame of weeks, but it's different. We're not on such a strict timeline with our reworks as we are with our new heroes, which are very kind of
Every 3 weeks.
Yeah,
right.
we've got a system down. We got the conveyor belt moving, and so we got to keep the train rolling.
Of all of the reworks that happened here, which one was your favorite?
So actually, two heroes that I play mostly warriors and supports. So the Leoric and the Morales ones were kind of special for me because I played both of those heroes, and so I'm looking forward to actually seeing those in practice on the live environment. We tested internally a ton, but sometimes you just don't get a feel for it until you actually get it out there.
There's some statistic that you guys could test things for a year, but in the first 5 minutes of it going live, you already have more data or something.
It is amazing that we'll be like, no, we're pretty sure what's going to happen here, and then it goes up on the PTR, and within seconds, people are like, did you guys try this out?
Yeah, exactly.
No, we didn't.
Yeah, don't fall off the edge.
I'm getting pushed.
Please don't fall off the edge. That would be terrible. I don't need that as the headline here.
But that would be an awesome clip, right? Where I just take a dive off the side.
Oh, that would. I was thinking about the same thing. It's like free publicity, right? I was just going to scooch over a little bit more.
Cool. I don't want to get in your way. You're playing the game.
Not very well so far. Kel'Thuzad, very difficult hero, I would say.
He is a hero that definitely has a much higher skill cap. So I would say to truly unlock the total power of Kel'Thuzad, you gotta have some practice with him. You gotta time those skill shots, get that combo down. But even at the lower level, like myself, I'm not like a pro grandmaster player. I can actually get reasonable action out of him. and be a threat on the battlefield. But when I watch him, like in the hands of Kyle, the hero designer, he'll just blow people up because he's got that combo down. He's timed all the skill shots.
Yeah,
so.
Absolutely. On the second day, Chu was playing on the other PC, and we were in the same game, like playing against viewers or convention attendees. Right?
Yeah.
And I thought that KT was very difficult, and then she was just making it look easy.
He's just like...
And I was like, but we've only played him for like 3 hours. How are you doing this? I don't understand.
It's inherent to him. He's got the skill shot skills, I guess. I don't know.
He is very susceptible to dive characters like this Illidan, so I'm just trying to stay back as far away as I can.
And that's something that a lot of people have said, okay, well, he's got so much power unlocked with his baseline quest. And yep, he can definitely become this incredible threat on the battlefield. But if you have an Illidan, you have a Genji, you have something like
Tracer was
Tracer,
devastating.
and you got some trouble. You need someone to help you out.
We have so much displacement on our team. It's becoming very difficult to actually land these things. We have Kerrigan and Ariel kind of moving these guys around when I wish they wouldn't be doing that.
Yeah, if you can get behind, like there you go, Varian. If you can, Varian can just set up in front of you
for sure. On the stage yesterday, I had my show match and it went great.
Okay,
there we go.
There you go.
And but in the last game, Dunk Train was playing Kel'Thuzad, and he did very well. But we had a Tracer that was just harassing him nonstop. So
was he able to deal with it, or was he?
Sometimes, sometimes she's very difficult to skill shot, right? Just inherently. So that was kind of our strategy going.
So wait, you guys had your show match then?
Yeah.
What was the final outcome?
3-0 my team.
Nice.
Yeah, felt good.
Very good.
I'm just going to land these chains. I can't attach them to friendly buildings. It's only enemy buildings.
It is only enemy buildings, yes. But you can also, later on, when you get right there, Glacial Spike, which you didn't take.
No, I didn't.
But maybe you have your strategy down. Glacial Spike will let you do it even without having an enemy building there.
I want to make you a believer in this build. Everyone.
He actually has multiple builds
Absolutely.
that are, He's got some fun builds.
Everyone I've talked to is such a big proponent for Glacial Spike that I'm like, well, I'm going to do something else.
It's the one that's the showiest thing right now. Like you can see it visibly on the screen, where the other ones are a little more numbers-based.
Chat's asking if I can make our screen smaller. The problem is that then it would be this. And I don't feel like that's as cool. I feel like you being here.
Nobody wants to see us.
I feel like you being here is more important.
They want to see the game.
Oh, they can see the game. Don't worry. I can make it smaller though. Like we can do that. I just wanted to give you center stage here.
Oh, thank you very much.
Because I like having you. This is my first time I've talked to you on.
Yeah, we've talked several times, but no, first time on stream.
I've never had public record of it.
Now it is recorded.
So I really like the idea behind the self-progression that we're kind of seeing in a lot of these redesigns, and especially in Kel'Thuzad, where he is incentivized to play very well, and if he does, he can scale in power faster than, I would say, other heroes, but similar Kel'Thuzads who can't quite land their skill shots.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of a philosophy change in general over time with just quests, where we've wanted to make quests more impactful. Mm-hmm. We've loved the game mechanic of quests because it allows for that personal power spike where although your team is leveling all together at a certain point, with quests you can actually get this burst of either functionality or power to help your team actually carry yourself to victory. Kel'Thuzad is a great example of that because I don't know if you've had a chance to talk to Kyle, but from a numbers perspective, Kel'Thuzad actually scales slightly slower level to level than the other heroes. But with his quest, you can get this massive burst. So now it's really in your hands. If you can play skillfully, if you can land all these crowd control abilities, you'll actually jump ahead of everyone else and then be like this real force to be reckoned with by the enemy team.
And I love that. I absolutely love that mentality. Are we going to continue to see... I feel like quest talents have always been a thing, and like you said, it was a mentality shift. Like the convection oven on the old KT, on Kel'Thuzad, and Master's Touch on Medivh are the ones that really stand out to me as power spikes. But this just feels different to me, and this may be a little too extreme of an outlook, but to me, it doesn't seem like you play Kel'Thuzad until you are done with this quest.
early on, you're basically really this like control mage where you're setting up all these plays for the rest of your team and trying to make tons of progress towards your Master of the Cold Dark quest. And then once you actually unlock that quest, that's when you truly become this burst damage combo mage where you just start blowing people up. So,
and I think it's the same on Chromie too. Like the power spike you get on Chromie now is massive.
Yep.
But it takes a lot of skill for it to happen, and Jaina as well.
Yeah, hers is cool because it's not just straight damage; it's actually damage that's tied to kind of functionality and skill. Because you need to be able to actually target that echo with yourself to get the most. Yeah, and it takes a little more skill. So I think you'll see us do both. Some of it will just be straight like power or in some numerical way in the case of Kel'Thuzad. And then other ones will be more like unlocking functionality or different abilities. Like you said in the case of in Jaina also, where you get improved ice blocks, and now you can maybe overextend a little bit and actually get yourself out of a sticky situation.
So just my feedback on that situation, even though you didn't ask, I love it. I absolutely love it. It gives me more incentive to actually play Jaina better. You know, it gives me more incentive to actually really think about Chromie's skill shots, where previously, no, how did he know I was there?
He's stream sniping. He's
gives me incentive to actually be very precise with Chromie, where before I was just bronze talents. Hey, if Q hits, whatever. Let's just...
You know, even with, like, so I've been playing a ton of Gul'dan lately, and his level 1 talent Echoed Corruption. First of all, I love his Corruption build for Gul'dan, but Echoed Corruption, the quest itself, it actually has made me a better player because I'm constantly thinking about my positioning and how do I line up the set of enemy heroes so that I can get multiple quest hits off of them. So it's actually made me a better player too, which I really like, and it feels rewarding as hell when I can actually get multiple in the Corruption. You
know, on the reverse side of that, though, I don't build for Corruption ever when I play Gul'dan.
That shows the diversity of that.
Exactly. I go all for Q, and I love the Q build, and something about just spamming that out and hitting everything in front of you feels so satisfying to me personally.
Definitely. No, I think Gul'dan is actually a fantastic hero in that case, in that he has multiple viable builds that are actually fun. Like you feel rewarded.
Absolutely. So I guess my question is, what about Kel'Thuzad took him so long to be released? Because he was the most requested thing in the history of the game, right?
Yeah. That is true. I don't know that there was any one thing. I mean, definitely we knew that Kel'Thuzad was a special hero, and we wanted to do him at some point and really do him right.
Right.
As far as like our hero pipeline, we've actually got heroes planned out for months in advance.
It's about 6 months creation time, right?
In the case of Kel'Thuzad, he took about 8 months.
Oh, wow.
And we've had heroes that, like a Cho'Gall, probably took even longer just because of how insane he was. But yeah, it takes a long time to make these heroes, and so as a result, I'm sure I'm not helping while this conversation's going on here.
No, I'm a professional at talking and playing the game at the same time, but this enemy team is trying so hard. They're going so hard.
You got the pro team on the other side.
It feels like it.
Yeah, so by the time we actually decide, you know what, let's do Kel'Thuzad, it's now another 8 months later before he actually shows up. And we're, let's say, 2 years out now, a little over 2 years out from the original launch of the game. So that's a part of it. There's also an aspect of we want to make sure we do right by the hero, and so sometimes we have a lot of different thoughts, and then we iterate on those thoughts, and eventually we finally come to a place where actually this feels good, let's go with this. So
yeah, and that makes sense.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think there's a standard answer there for, hey, this hero or heroes in general take 6 months to make, period. You know, I don't think that's realistic at all. So as a Kel'Thuzad player, or when you play him, which heroic ability do you like to? What's your true calling here?
So I don't know that I've mastered yet, but I've been doing Shadow Fissure, just because of the low cooldown and the ability to combo it with everything else. The timing is so long though that I gotta admit I'm not that great at it yet. I gotta, and I think that's kind of the balance. There's quite a bit of timing involved on it, but. The other thing I love about it is just the global aspect, where if someone is channeling a tribute
Yeah.
or some other kind of map objective, or even if there's a guy who's super hurt and running away, and if I can manage to time that perfectly, I'll be able to get that final kill as well. So, yeah, I've been using Shadow Fissure myself.
Good. I like it too. If you can't tell, I just got a few pretty decent kills with it there. I'm a big fan of this Hunger and Cold talent, and just how it scales.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that you get rewarded for landing everything in the combo with Hunger and Cold, because every application of damage that you deal within this 4-second window
is that much more.
Is that much more valuable.
Yep.
And that's one thing I think Kel'Thuzad does different than most other heroes, aside from maybe Kerrigan, where if you miss one part of the combo, it ruins every... I guess Alarak as well. But, if you miss one part of it, it kind of feels like...
You don't get the full effect of it, yeah. Yeah, for sure. I mean, you got to... That's part of what, like, when we talk about combo mage, that's really what we're speaking to, is that there is a bit of mastering that so that you can get the full effectiveness. You'll get some damage and some effect out of hitting some of those, but
for sure,
if you can land them all, they all just, like, multiply. So.
And this build in particular, and the Glacial Spike build, similar mentality where you have to land all of the combo, but at the same time, I like the fact that he can maybe just build for Q in a particular game, and it's just about firing that out, and I've been recommending that as a really good place to start.
Actually, that's where I did start, because it's a little bit more straightforward in the sense that I don't need to think too crazy about hitting some big combo. Just doing Death and Decay on its own can already be doing some damage. That's what I also like about his baseline quest, is that all of his level 1 talents are also affected by him completing his quest. There'll be some modifications on it, so it's more than just getting that power spike. It also unlocks some additional effect on those first level quests.
I think one of my favorite things is also the... Oh, we're getting hunted.
Yeah,
okay.
Now you're going to...
Yeah, okay. I think one of my favorite things, which I wanted to zoom in on really quick, was the fact that when the quest is completed, like, chains emit from his body and start rotating around.
So that's something that we've said we want to deliberately start doing more and more of.
Good. I was going to ask.
So we did it first with, I think, Butcher maybe, or I'm sure someone will correct me that there was someone before that, but Butcher was the most noticeable one.
With the glowing
cleaver.
with
that glowing weapon. That's just like this epic thing. When you see it, you're scared. But either we're going to have some kind of functionality change in the quest, where in the case of, let's say, the Chromie rework we just did, you'll actually see that echo, the Sandblast echo, and you'll know, okay, she's finished her quest. Or if it's just a straight number change, like Butcher or Kel'Thuzad, we're going to actually do something visual on their model.
Like
so
that.
In the case of Butcher, a big axe. In the case of Kel'Thuzad, those chains that appear. So,
does Jaina have any type of visual effect from that, from completing hers?
Jaina, I want to say we actually got something in on her staff, but now that you mention it, I don't actually know that went out. I think the intention was that her staff was supposed to glow brighter or have some effect on it. I don't actually know if that made it in this build or not.
Well, at least we know that it might.
It might at some point in the future, and if it doesn't, maybe that's something we add.
Feel free to not answer this, but was there plans to change Medivh in some way? And if so, like when his Master's Touch is done?
I think that we would like to go back and touch a lot of those heroes that have significant quests, rewards.
You're good at this. You're very good at this.
To make them kind of be very visible and very... in addition to all the UI stuff that we've changed, I don't know if you've already talked about all that stuff and shown it off.
Oh, I didn't speak about it this stream, but I have spoken about it.
Yeah, I mean, that alone also plays a big part into this too, where when you finish Master's Touch or Kel'Thuzad, Master of the Cold Dark, you're going to get that notification at the top left, and you'll get the visual effect in-game, so people will know, okay, Medivh has got Master's Touch, he's just going to start spamming.
We have a $10 donation from Caleb donating $1 for every time I died that game. Or $1 for every time I was hunted. I'm not sure.
Every time you die.
I'm pretty sure.
Well, then that was a good game for you, I guess.
Financially viable game for me.
Does he tell you that ahead of time? Because otherwise you're just going to throw the game.
No. He, what he's been doing this morning is like, when I was playing Chromie, I was getting a lot of time traps early on.
Okay.
So whenever someone would step in a time trap, that was his incentive that game, to donate a monetary amount based on how many people I put in stasis.
Sure. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I don't mind. Whatever games they like to play, I mean, I'm down. That's fine. Okay. So we have a new hashtag to do today. We did the hashtag yesterday for Kyle,
Okay.
but we have this one. It's going to be at 6 o'clock. They just said that they're going to be answering these. I still need it. Ask Alan DeBerry. And I'll go ahead and copy-paste that so I don't forget it. If you have questions, feel free to use that hashtag on Twitter. Maybe what we do yesterday, what we did actually was when my friend Kai sat with me on stream because I was exhausted, and she was helping me hand out codes. So what we were doing the Ask Kyle hashtag for Kel'Thuzad questions, and whenever we got one that we really liked, we would hand out the code for one of these mounts here.
Cool. That sounds good.
Well, it looks like Kel'Thuzad was stolen from me, so I'm going to play Jaina.
There you go.
I think
With
Jaina,
the Dreadlord Jaina skin.
I think Jaina is the winner of Gamescom for me.
She's definitely, she's got some new outfit there.
Well, I'm just saying with her new quest talent.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah. I really do think that it fundamentally changed how I wanted to play the character.
Now, do you think you're now trying different strategies or something as a result? Like
It's that I will play super aggressive in the early game.
Cool. That's the plan.
Also with the level 7 talent, with the being able to weave auto attacks in again, I know that when she was scaled back a while ago, removing some of her auto attack damage was kind of a way of doing that. And the fact that that's back just feels fantastic.
And I think that's a goal in general that we want to do is make heroes feel like they should be in the mix. They should be in the battle and encourage you to actually be a little more aggressive sometimes. Obviously for the right hero. I don't know that we want to do that for like a support hero or something. But even some of those actually have that.
Say, speaking of that.
Yeah, even some of those have that.
Morales has the Caduceus feedback at level 1. Is that the right talent? Where if you auto attack, you gain 1 energy. If you auto attack a hero, you gain 4. So I was trying to do like stutter stepping with her, getting in the mix of things, and I think that if you have the right comp, that she'll be able to maintain her energy for quite some time with that more aggressive play
And
style.
that's the balance, right? You've got the risk of being up there throwing out your autos versus trying to be way in the back and just healing safely.
All right, I'm going to make you proud this game.
Okay.
Can I ask what your rank is in Hero League?
You're not going to be too impressed with it.
I'm just curious.
I'll tell you. I know there are people who will be like, what? He's only that? I am bouncing around between high gold and low plat.
So slightly above average player. Gold is the average, right?
Gold is about the average.
It's like a bell curve.
So I will say slightly above average. Now, luckily, before everyone rages, I am not the one who's balancing the game, so you can be okay.
Viewers of mine, whenever we meet each other in the Nexus, it's always been a friendship.
It has been a friendship, indeed.
Well, I'm saying when viewers jump into our game, that's how we recognize each other.
Oh, did they say that right now?
Well, I can tell he's a viewer because he did that with me.
Oh, okay.
And like even people on the enemy, whoa, Genji, how did you do that? Even people on the enemy team will like stop and spin, see, to show that they're a viewer.
Yeah.
They always get one. I don't let them get more than that. So it looks like we don't have a support this game, but we do have a Cho'Gall.
He'll be able to protect you.
Were you involved with the creation of Cho'Gall at all? I know Browder was still the lead game designer, head, whatever your title is right
Game
now.
director.
Game director, excuse me.
Yeah, I was involved. I mean, even before I became game director, I've been on the team since the very beginning.
Oh, for sure.
On the technical side before. So I was involved in the sense that they came to us and said, hey, we want to make a hero where 2 people are playing 1 hero.
Right.
And all the engineers were like, what?
Yeah, how do we do that?
And then actually they said, yeah, we can do that. we'll make it happen. So, yeah, I've been involved.
Cool.
For sure. And I loved it, actually. As insane a hero as it was, I think he's a really cool hero, and I enjoy playing him. I usually Cho. I'm not as much of a Gall.
See, I'm only a Gall.
Okay.
So if you ever want to play, I'll give you my battle tag.
Sounds good.
Is that to you like the most unique hero that we have in the game as far as design?
He's definitely one of them. I mean, he stands out a lot. I think, we've also got heroes going all the way back to Abathur and the Lost Vikings that are really unique.
Mm-hmm.
Even more recently, heroes like Ragnaros, I was really happy with, just because you truly got that like epic feel from him when he would Molten Core.
I agree.
And also just his normal abilities. Like, he wasn't just kind of this one-trick pony with the Molten Core. I actually love the combination of all his abilities, you could get like some fun combos and interactions down with his meteor. And it just felt so compelling, especially when you did the quest on that one. Although I know that wasn't the hot build for a long time, but when you would do his meteor quest and you would just hear that ding, ding, ding.
Right.
It was definitely rewarding.
Speaking of that, we spoke briefly earlier about one of the reasons you would focus on redesigning a character, or maybe redesigning isn't the right word, but doing these little updates to make their talents different.
Yeah.
Is build variety towards the top of the list for that?
Absolutely. Yeah. That's in fact one of the key ones, which is, I mean, we really pride ourselves on the talent system, which is like this per hero talent system that allows for all this situational diversity, whether it's the team comp, the battleground you're on, and even to counter the talents that your opponents have taken. And if we go and we look at a hero and they're like 90% one build, that kind of, it feels like a miss in terms of one of our goals with the game. So it's something that is high on the list in determining should we actually do a rework here.
Right.
At the same time, we try to balance that with, we don't want to like, if one build is very fun or people get a lot of value out of it, we don't want to completely like destroy it and get rid of it.
Yeah.
We'd love to just make another build viable as well. And by doing that, it might mean that we've had to change the focus of that one popular build into something slightly different. But for the most part, we want to keep the feel of that build still there.
I think that's one of the unique struggles that Heroes has, because most other games in the genre are so focused around items that abilities more or less don't get altered that much. And when you have talents completely changing how some of these abilities work, that can be very, very difficult to balance. For sure.
It absolutely makes it a challenge, and I know it can also be difficult for players coming back, and that's something we've tried to like balance, which is, as much as we want to keep improving the game, we also have to be cognizant of the fact that people are used to playing the game a certain way.
For sure.
And so if we completely alter the feel of a character, that's not going to feel good. It's going to be difficult to pick up again. So
I do think that Morales was altered considerably.
Some of them do go a bit farther. I mean, now that you have to kind of balance that energy, you're not just sitting there and healing constantly. You got to change. So there is going to be a little bit of that, but sometimes we feel it's worth it for the benefit of the game. I think if anything, what we need to do is maybe improve the way we educate players.
For sure.
And when they come back, have them understand what's new, what's different, what they got to play, how they got to play with that hero.
That was some pretty nice damage burst there from our team, but unfortunately we did lose our Cho'Gath. I think we're about to lose our KT as well. Oh, good root. I got him, boys.
There you go.
Okay, I'll just pick these up. Nice. Just 48 butts. Oh, did you know I call them spider butts?
I did not know that, no. What's the significance? Oh, because they come out of the butt?
No, they are literally the butt of the spider that falls off.
We're going to change that. We're gonna put that in the game now.
Good. Speaking of being in the game, the announcer system has been released, and I think it's been received really, really well.
Yeah.
Are you open to the idea of announcer packs that aren't based on characters that are in the game? So I'm not saying directly me, although everyone in chat is going to say that that's where I'm going with this. I was thinking some fun stuff. So one that came to mind was like Bill and Ted from Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, like when you're doing stuff.
Yeah.
If you get like a mega kill or something, you're just like, oh, excellent, stuff like that. Something fun.
I think we could be open to it. I think that right now we have so many heroes that we could use, or even other characters that exist within the universes, that we'd like to explore those for a little while first. But I know in StarCraft we've tried out some non-character-based announcers, and that seems to have gone over well. So
I was going to ask how those were.
Yeah,
how those were
they're actually pretty popular. So it's definitely something we can talk about. It's not coming anytime soon, but who knows? Maybe we'll make an announcer review.
I mean, I'm down. Also, just putting this out there, I've been campaigning for Deathwing to be added into the game since like beta, not alpha, but beta.
Okay.
So if you ever get around to that, I would love to be involved in that release in some capacity.
Sounds good.
Just putting that out there.
I will let you know.
Might as well take a quick second to network on that really fast. So, the true question. for Jaina, Ring of Frost or Water Elemental?
So, I think if I was better, Ring of Frost. I think you can get some pretty awesome plays.
But we're going Water Elemental.
For something like this where we're talking and you're not able to focus as much, maybe Water Elemental's the best way to go. I
actually used Water Elemental for, not the first time, but the first time in a long time while Dunk Train was sitting here. For anyone that just joined us and don't know who he is, former captain of Cloud9,
yep.
world champion, very, very good player, and he was coaching me on how to actually play Jaina because I was honestly not familiar. And he gave me some really good advice on how to micro this thing around, and I didn't realize how complicated it would actually be to micro the elemental, but also worry about my character's positioning at the same time.
Yeah,
which is something I never really thought about. I never considered moving it around and stutter stepping with the water elemental, but also moving my character around at the same time.
Yeah,
so
I think that's a key aspect of a few of these summonable heroics, where actually controlling it.
But even though it's the easier ability out of the two, you don't have to land anything. It just goes out and does it.
But getting the most effectiveness out of it.
Exactly. There's still a way that you can show skill and get more value out of it, which I think is awesome. I really enjoy that. I remember back in my day, you couldn't micro any of the summon units at all.
No.
Like I would play Kerrigan with Ultralisk and just watch it go die.
I think that was a good change when we put that
Absolutely a good change.
We have our HGC banners out there now.
Yeah, added into this game. Not on the live servers yet. But,
I think it actually, I don't know now. I'm going to say the wrong thing. I thought it just went live while we were here at Gamescom, but maybe I'm wrong.
Oh, okay. Well, I was told I just thought they showed up here.
I would not be surprised if you have better information than I do.
Well, I don't think I was actually told that. I think I deduced it.
Okay.
I forgot to make the camera smaller again, but no one's complained, so I'm just going to leave it there.
They like looking at you. You're the star of the show.
I think you're so handsome, though. So, is there a particular character from any of the Heroes universes that you would specifically like to see added into the game?
From the Blizzard universes?
Yeah,
like that haven't been in the game yet. So it's funny, we've been asked this a bunch recently in press questions as well.
I'm sure.
I've been asked this since the launch of the game, and I always used to say Malthael because he was just this iconic character that I loved. I loved his visuals. I loved kind of the emotion that he invokes, like just this fear. He's just so badass. And then we brought him, and I think we actually captured a lot of that emotion. Like there is a bit of that fear with Malthael in the game. Since then, I haven't really figured out my new one that I want to answer. I think for me, I would probably go back to StarCraft again, and I have to figure out which character from StarCraft. And actually, it could even be not just one of our like main named characters. There's some cool even units that I think could turn into. Wow, that was a good one.
Yeah, it was.
That I think could turn into a cool hero. Nice.
Oh, he got rooted. I was going to go. Here goes Genji. Here he goes.
He's going ham. Oh,
so kind of like the way the Queen was added into the game as Zagara.
Yeah.
She wasn't named
Zagara,
at the time.
You got Morales with Medic. And we can actually create a new character that way. But I think there's also some named characters as well. I think there's several people through all of the expansions for StarCraft 2, going back to StarCraft 1 and Brood War. I think there's a lot of opportunity there. So I got to go back and look at them all now.
So you're more encapsulated by the StarCraft universe right now.
I think mostly because I've been involved with it so much. Like StarCraft is a lot of my background that it sticks with me. I mean, I love Warcraft 2. I also worked on Warcraft. Actually, I love Warcraft also. Although I do love Warcraft 2 as well. I worked on Warcraft 3, so I have a lot of connection there too.
No. Oh, we're okay. We're okay.
See, that's what I mean by the timing on that.
So important.
You gotta. Oh,
Whoa!
This could be some damage. There you go.
That'll do.
You got him. You got him.
Come on, Water Elemental. Come hit him.
There you go. Slows for days.
I totally forgot what we were talking about because of that play.
What the Warcraft.
Oh, yeah.
How's your quest doing?
It's going okay.
Okay.
So when I was like hard in the game, I think I was averaging about an 8-minute quest completion.
Nice. Yeah, see, I'm distracting you, so.
Well, I also had a little bit of help because when we have players on both PCs, we would always be playing together.
Yeah.
So I could combo off of them.
Although with Kel'Thuzad, you just watch for his combo and just blow up.
That's true. Very true.
Yeah, what I was saying is that StarCraft, holds a special place in my heart since I've worked on it so much.
Mhm.
But I also go back all the way to Warcraft 3, so there's plenty. I mean, Kel'Thuzad came from Warcraft 3 initially, so he's also a special, iconic character for me.
As you continue to add more characters, is it difficult to... how do I want to word this? So, I know one of the most important things in the game is being able to identify silhouettes.
Yep.
Is it difficult to continuously build on the game when you already have, like, how many humans can you have before they all look the same? How many angels from Diablo?
So that is definitely a concern, and I will say it is a constant struggle, especially between the artists and the designers, because design might be motivated by a certain hero because of the abilities that they could potentially bring to the game.
Right.
And art then looks at that hero and goes, wait a minute, that's another, whatever, such and such elf or orc or Protoss warrior. But I think the artists have actually managed to do a really good job, because it's not just the character standing still and kind of their silhouette then, it's also their animation and how they move. And so sometimes even when we do skins, while they may start to look significantly different, once you actually see their animation and once you see the effects that they do, it'll actually make that hero very identifiable.
Kind of like Amazonian Nova moves nothing like Cassia.
Exactly. Okay. And so although they almost have a similar theme, they've managed... they're a very similar theme. I'm trying to be diplomatic about it. Once you see them in action, you know who's who.
Absolutely.
There's no question.
Yeah.
So I think you combine all that stuff. One, you have key elements of... Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, it was a great pull. Unfortunately, everything I have is on cooldown.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, Li Ming is not too happy with you.
There's a phenomenon called Focus the Streamer.
They know?
Yeah.
Well, there's Kel'Thuzad's quest up there, so now you're going to start to see some action.
Mine my globe quest just completed as well, not my damage quest. I'm 2,000 damage off from that.
Cool.
Just so chat knows.
So yeah, it is something we're constantly thinking of. I mean, even, I'll be honest, Dreadlord Jaina, we had quite a bit of discussion about the wings. They were something that kind of starts looking outside of what her normal look is, but when you see her start animating and you see that staff specifically, like that's a key thing. And then once she starts doing her abilities, you differentiate her from, let's say, a Kerrigan or something.
That's true. Yeah, for sure. I didn't even think about her being compared to Kerrigan, actually.
Yeah,
it never even crossed my mind.
We had some, basically games where we just tried to show, look, is this going to cause a problem? So we had I forgot the name of the skin now, the Vampire Kerrigan with Dreadlord Jaina, and then who else? There was some other people in there, too. I think it was, like, the Arthas with the wings as well, and, just everyone trying to truly break the game. And it ended up that people could actually identify the hero. Good.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, it never even crossed my mind that this was Kerrigan while we were playing her.
Yeah, but those are the kinds of things we got to think about. But I'm glad that you were saying that, because that makes us feel better about our.
My damage quest is done.
Oh.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, I will say that Frostblast is a nice heroic as well for Kel'Thuzad.
For sure.
Just because it's such an awesome initiator, it forces everyone else to really just spread.
Oh no!
And then you can.
If I died to the spider, I would never hear the end of it. Yeah, I really like his spells and how they combo with everything. I think he fits into a lot of comps just because of the crowd control that he brings to the. How did she know? Just because of the crowd control that he brings to the table.
Yeah.
Now, how much, we talked earlier, Kel'Thuzad. We're back on Kel'Thuzad.
Okay.
The fact that his quest completing kind of unlocks the real character, kind of unlocks the full potential of the character. Was there a time where that damage was just astronomical, or were you able to nail that down relatively quickly?
We've gone through various numbers for sure. I mean, it's amazing how many changes each of these heroes go through from the very beginning until we ship them.
Right.
And actually, that's one of the cool things about this this documentary that we're going to put out. I don't know that we go into the specifics of the numbers exactly, but you kind of see the development process and how much iteration there is. So with his quest, we went through various iterations of what, in fact, it used to do different things as well. It would actually grant different rewards entirely, and we kept on tweaking it and looking at what, what's the thing that feels the best. It's going with that design philosophy. It's got to be impactful.
Mm-hmm.
You got to know, okay, I've just changed the tone of the game when I finished that quest. It should be visible and recognizable. In this case, now you've got those chains around you, so they know that you're going to blow people up. And, we want to try to just mix it up. In his case, his combo is such an important part of his ability that making that the quest criteria just made total sense. Oh, nice. That was a good one.
That was a great one.
Yeah, that was a fantastic
absolutely
glacial spike. It made sense to make that his quest criteria, and then as far as a damage perspective, it just makes him that much more significant and scary. We really wanted to go off that feeling of Kel'Thuzad, maybe in the Naxxramas raid where he's just blowing you up globally. He's just using all his abilities on you, and there's definitely a fear factor there that he is that raid boss.
With a character like Kel'Thuzad that is obviously extremely high skill cap, like no question there whatsoever, how important is the overall win rate of that character across the board? So not just at high level, not just super accessible, but like characters like Medivh, who obviously take a lot more skill and teamwork in order to play.
By the way, I think your chat was saying this too. Is your staff glowing now? I think it does actually. It
has a little bit of a shine.
Yeah, I think that's that was from the quest, so I wasn't completely wrong.
Cool.
So, yeah, to answer your question, for characters where we've basically said, look, this character is a little more for the higher skill player, especially with someone with like Medivh as an example. Kel'Thuzad, he definitely has a high skill cap. I would say that, like I was saying earlier, you can also play him as a lower skill and still get good effect out of him.
With Q builds, things like that.
You're not going to be maybe as effective as the highest skill player, but still you're going to be able to stand toe-to-toe. But either way, these higher skill players, it is not important for us for him to have a high win rate at lower skill levels. We intentionally go into that hero understanding that it's designed a little more for these more skilled players.
Right.
So like when you look at Medivh's win rate at lower levels, it's low.
Yeah.
We're okay with that.
Okay.
That is completely fine, and we're supportive of that. We're not going to try to buff him to get the lower skill players better effect with that character, because what that's going to do is make the high skill just completely dominant.
Yeah.
So we're okay that there's some heroes that are more for the high level and competitive, and we're also okay that there's some heroes that are for the more introductory person, the more new person.
I think that's very important to get people interested in the game in the first place.
Yep. We're cool with both sides of it.
Took a lot of damage there for no reason.
And I think you'll see also by the same token then, when people say, hey, should all heroes be viable in competitive? My answer would be no.
I don't think so.
I don't think we need to have all heroes be viable at competitive. It would be nice that we have a high percentage of heroes that are viable. Obviously, we want to have... Oh, nice.
We might be able to win a game off this. Or not. Or my whole team just died.
The rest of your team is gone.
Well, he rezzed. I got his butts.
You got to run.
I'm afraid. I don't want to do this by myself.
I think you're in danger there.
Yeah, he's telling me to go in. I'm just going to turn these in and then push something else.
If Kel'Thuzad locks you down.
Yeah, I agree. Mobility creep is kind of a big topic in the game.
Sure.
There's a little game called Overwatch. I heard it was slightly successful. And the characters in that game are all about high impact well, many of them, high impact mobility, high energy, move around constantly.
Yep.
And converting some of those to heroes has been a little controversial. And how do you specifically feel characters like Genji and Tracer kind of fit into the game?
So I think that there's a place for those characters. Obviously, I think we totally accept that there's also too much. And so I don't know that we're there right now. I think that if you're in a game where you have multiple of those heroes, it can feel fairly punishing. I will say that there are counters for a decent number of those things
For sure.
because there's a lot of crowd control and stuns as well. So that there's a clear kind of, if they pick that, okay, let's counter them situation in draft. But if every single hero can just dance all over the battlefield and has no risk of really being taken down, that's no good either. So it's something the balance team is totally aware of. They play the game regularly and they read the feedback as well. We're not going to let that get out of hand, and if it does, we're going to tone it back. But in the case of Kel'Thuzad, it is actually a reasonable counter because he can do so much damage later on and lock down players so easily.
We've seen that.
Having a couple of those heroes that can jump back there and blow them up a little bit is probably good from a counter perspective.
When Varian was introduced to the game, I know I'm jumping all over the place with these, but
I'm down.
When Varian was introduced to the game, he was very strong with his, is this it?
This is the dream. Oh.
When he was introduced to the game, he was very strong with just the way that his charge at level 4 worked.
Yeah.
And then how that interacted with taunt as well.
Yep.
For changes like that, are you looking at mostly numbers for determining that's a little bit too high, or are you also listening to player feedback on that topic?
So when we do balance changes, you guys are actually going to do this. Nice.
I mean, I want to go to the core.
There you go. Do it.
I don't know if
they're
anyone
all
else
down.
is
You
going
got 30
to the core.
seconds.
I agree.
This is a total core situation here.
Absolutely. Yeah, that won the game.
Good job, boys.
Sorry.
Okay, so I'm just going to make sure I'm not going to fall off the stage here. So, yeah, when we balance stuff, it is absolutely using a lot of inputs, a lot of different pieces of information. It's pretty rare where we'll make a balance change based off of just one thing. Like, if we just heard the community saying something about a particular ability or talent or whatnot, it's not often that we're just going to immediately blindly go, okay, change the number, ship it, we're done.
Especially when there's kind of the mob mentality effect around some things.
There is a lot of, once somebody has a loud voice, there is a lot of people who will maybe latch onto that voice, whether they have experienced that or not. The funny thing is, even when that loud voice happens, you'll often see as much in the other direction. And so it's never really clear what the right choice anyways is from the community sometimes.
For sure.
Because there'll be a lot of voice on the other side, which is like, no, he's fine. Usually those are the people who play that hero. We're saying. But no, so what we'll do is, like, if we get a lot of community feedback on something, oftentimes it'll be something that maybe it's been brewing within the development team as well. But if it hasn't, we can turn towards both the data that we collect internally. We collect a ton of data. Just a massive amount of data from every single game that's played on Battle.net. And so we're able to start validating things. So usually we're going to take 2 or 3 of these different input points, which is, it might be a community feedback, which, by the way, there's some fantastic community feedback as well. Like, there's people on our forums and on Reddit who will do the most detailed analysis that when we read it, we're like, damn, this guy's good. Like, yeah, that's pretty spot on. He's got something there. But the community feedback, the numbers that we look at from our telemetry data, and then finally our own play, and our own experiences. And also there's a fourth one there, which is also the pro scene. We get a lot of feedback from pro players. We watch a ton of HGC as well. And so between all of that, there's like this magic sauce of input, and eventually the balance team can kind of figure out what exactly we want to change, when we want to change it, and how we want to do it.
So it's a mixture of everything.
It's
basically
a mixture of multiple inputs. It's not just, hey, we looked at the numbers and this heroic is doing way too much damage, let's nerf it. Because it might be the case that it's actually a low pick, it's not actually winning a lot of games, and so even though it's doing a lot of damage, maybe some other combination of stuff doesn't actually make it that powerful. It might be that the other heroic, because it combos a lot with the hero's base abilities, is actually a better pick. So there's a lot of things that have to go into it. We can't just jump to making a change because one number says this thing is winning too much.
Absolutely, and that makes perfect sense. Because definitely, like we said earlier, in the first 5 minutes of a character being released, you have way more data than you ever had.
Oh, yeah.
Or could have ever produced on your own.
Yep.
As far as... so that's one way to get feedback, is everything you just mentioned. Another way to get feedback, or another topic of feedback, would be in-game reports for some toxic players, maybe.
Yeah. I don't know that we're getting as much game...
No, not game info, but I was specifically going to ask, by the way, you want a throat lozenge? You doing okay?
I'm okay, yeah. I just keep drinking my water. After a week of talking straight. It's
yeah, no kidding. I know exactly how I feel.
Yeah, it's your job, so you must get really...
Do you think you'll ever implement some kind of feedback system for when, your night was ruined by some guy and you reported him for being toxic? It can kind of feel like you're just kind of wading in the ocean at that point,
Yep.
You don't know whether or not that had any effect. You're just kind of doing your own thing and you move on. Are you happy with that system?
So, yeah, not entirely, no. We're happy with the system in that it can work. I think that there's a lot of room for improvement. I actually made a forum post on this recently about it. First off, I guess I want to say that reporting absolutely does work. And so for people who've maybe lost confidence in that or don't think that it actually goes anywhere, for now I want to tell you, you'll have to take my word for it, but it absolutely works. We get those reports. We have a fantastic customer service team that both looks at them individually, but also we have a BI team that we use a lot of algorithmic...
what is a BI team?
Oh, sorry, I guess I should explain. Yeah, business intelligence team. It's a team that, for example, all the telemetry data I talked about from the game perspective, like damage and wins and all that, that all goes to them, and they kind of aggregate that data and make it into something that's usable for us. And they might do analysis on it. They might, just provide us raw numbers, and then we can actually figure out, okay, what does it mean? So with reports, they also do some of that investigation on their side as well. And then we've also got kind of a hacks and, kind of malicious behavior team in the sense that we're also looking for anyone who's doing anything that really stands out as being bad. Between all these different resources, we collect all this information, and we are acting on it. We are regularly actioning players. Some of those are suspensions. Some of them are actually removing them from the game. Obviously, we also have silence as well for people who are just toxic from a chat perspective. But a lot of what people are talking about lately is kind of non-participation.
Yeah, or intentionally feeding.
Intentionally feeding, being just a jerk in game. And that's stuff where we're using more of the algorithmic side to actually start identifying those people. And then we can tie that stuff back to, through other means. So, going back to your question now, the report system is great. I'm glad that we have it in the game. I think there are improvements. The thing you called out is a key one for me.
Yeah.
And it's one that I actually mentioned on my forum post as well, which is we want to give feedback to the player when that action has actually taken place. We're not going to go into details about what they said and did and what ultimately we did to them.
Just a quick thank you.
Yeah, a quick saying, look, you reported this person. We have actually handled this report and action has been taken.
Okay.
And I agree. I think that alone would be a significant improvement for players to understand that, what I'm doing is actually, it has an effect, and that I should continue to do this.
I agree with that.
So that's kind of at one of the top of the things on my list. There's a whole bunch of other improvements I think we can make. I think the various ways that you can report, maybe the discoverability of reporting, where you can report.
Oh, yeah, because it's just, I've always known where it is, right? I never thought about that. But it is just a little cogwheel, isn't it?
There's a lot of players who don't recognize that, where to report players. And then beyond all the kind of, I guess negative reinforcement ways of trying to combat toxicity, I think we still want to explore some positive ways of reinforcing this as well, in that giving ways to, like, obviously we have something really small. It's not, I don't think it's enough, but like the MVP system.
Yeah.
Where you can kind of upvote people that you think have really contributed to the game. And that's just not just their gameplay, but the way they've acted in game too, like if they were very collaborative. But I think we can go beyond that. I think we can actually make things that would motivate players to perform well and to be nice and to work as a team so that they can get recognized. So there's a lot of ideas there, and we've talked about it for a long time. We've slowly introduced different things, and it's just a matter of really getting the time to get all this stuff into the game.
Absolutely. I mean, everything takes dev hours, right?
Yeah.
Everything.
Oh, almost.
It's fine. I'll get her later.
Yeah.
We got a long game ahead of us.
What do you think about the Leoric rework?
I love it, actually. I like, simply from a baseline level, I like the fact that his auto attack animation matches what happens when he hits things now. So like that's a single hit. This is obviously a cleave, and that's obviously a cleave.
Yeah.
And then I smash that thing. Someone earlier in chat was saying they wish there was a visual representation for when the crit would happen.
Honestly, we have so many changes in this game that I'm never sure what's in the live game and what's not. There's actually a piece of UI that we had for a hero-specific UI. We have it for a lot of our other heroes. I don't see it now, though, so maybe it didn't actually make it into this build, where we would show you what state you're in, whether you're on the cleave or you're on the crit. So apparently we didn't get that in the game for this build, but it is coming, I hope, and if it's not, I'll go back and I'll tell them, hey, people want it.
Our weapon's glowing, so that means we're going to crit.
Well, there you go. You got that too, which is cool.
So there's that in-game indicator. That's what I was going to say. I was going to reference that. But it's cool that that's being expanded upon.
Yeah, we want to also do it as a UI element as well. Yeah, you're right. See, this is we go through so many changes. I'm never sure what's actually in the game or not. But no, it's cool to see that because then you can time it and hit on the hero.
Chat just said a dev confirmed that it's going to be on the PTR.
Oh, it is on the PTRs. Thank you very much.
Cool. Yeah, I really like his changes. I think the later in the game you go, the more interesting the talents get, and it kind of like derails into all these different directions on how your playstyle suddenly transforms as you enter the late game. Yeah, which I think is cool. Are you a fan of this whole ominous wraith into the royal focus,
where you wraith through them?
Yeah.
Yeah. I haven't used it much myself yet, but Kyle was telling me about just some epic plays where people would literally just wave through the entire enemy team, swing, and then do it again. Just
that was my first for the first time we played with the new Leoric. That's actually what happened. Someone on the enemy team, we were playing as the whole North American HotS group that came over, so they're pretty good players. And someone on the enemy team was just doing that. I was like, how is he doing this so often? I don't understand. Why am I not dealing any damage?
So it's kind of cool in the sense that there's a positioning thing there where you just kind of have to get away from him. And
but at the same time, it's kind of a risk for him because he's using his one escape all of a sudden as like a debuff to the enemy team.
And if everyone just turns on him and blows him up, then...
Yeah, they can't do anything about it. Speaking of blowing people up, our team this time pretty good.
I guess that's one thing about games here at a convention like this. You're going to have either pros sitting down or people trying the game for the first time.
Dude. Earlier, I was after my show match yesterday, I was just looking for something to do. So I sat down and I played heroes just on the show floor PCs. And I played the Butcher, and I was just going to have some fun with it. Because I wasn't sure if the nerfs that are in place either live or on the PTR were in this build yet, and I wanted to see how they felt.
Yeah.
But I finished my quest at 3 minutes. And I spent the next 8 minutes just kind of walking around and making sure we didn't end the game too quick. So, sometimes you have people that obviously play. They're like B-stepping you all the time. They're spraying you. But then you have some people who I'm not sure they've ever seen a keyboard. It might be their first PC game.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's a cool thing about these conventions that you get people exploring the game and trying it new for the first time. So maybe they get exposed to it. But the downside is they may just get wrecked because they're playing against some pro team.
Now, we do have some changes to March of the Black King here at level 10. I believe its percent was increased from 7 to 12.
Yep.
So that's a lot more healing.
Yeah, it's trying to make it so that you can just kind of sustain through that thing a little better. I know Entomb was oftentimes the go-to heroic. But yeah, just trying to make March a little more attractive as well.
I honestly like it a lot. I think it feels really good right now. But this silence inside of Entomb seems so strong.
You know, it's funny. Whenever I hear like the changes that the balance guys are talking about, sometimes I'll always go like, wait, isn't that broken? Doesn't that sound completely broken? But then we'll go through it and I'll talk about it, and it seems like it's reasonable. One of the things is at 20, oftentimes that is where we put some of our more insane abilities. Like the game is close to ending, or if anything, we're trying to. There you go. See, that's a March.
There you go. I know how to play some characters in this game, don't worry. Jaina was a new thing for me. Kel'Thuzad's new for me, but I know how to play a Leoric. Actually, my highest win rate warrior.
Is that right?
Mm-hmm. I don't play him often, but I have
played
success.
a ton of Leoric when he first came out. I haven't a lot recently, so I'm going to have to jump back on him with the rework.
I really do like the way his build kind of ramps up, and the kind of themes we have in talents here. So level 1's all about healing. This is all about your cleave. This is all about your W. But then as you branch out here, it can just go, like I said, in any direction. And I like the fact that you'll know what to expect from Leoric until level 13. And then
it's
and then it gets weird.
Yeah.
I think that's such cool design, and I really like that. I am also a pretty big fan of Chromie's changes as well. I think the trap setup is fantastic.
Yep.
And how you're like incentivized to like plan ahead with where you want to move, where you
don't want to
bait
just
people.
kind of spam them out there.
I think I asked. Did you say Leoric and Morales were your two favorite examples of a rework?
Of
here?
the reworks, yeah,
Here.
I think just because I'm such a big support warrior player, I played a ton of Morales as well, and so I'm excited to get Morales on the live environment too. So, but all of the changes are pretty good. I have to admit, I'm not a huge Jaina player, just because any hero that doesn't have like either can't super overextend, like Leoric can overextend because he can just Wraith Walk right out of there. Morales can't overextend, but I just play way more cautiously. But characters like Jaina, where you just have to, you're kind of blowing people up, but you got to be aware of where you are. I'm not good at because I'm usually overextending.
What are you thinking here at level 13? What's your favorite path?
Let's see here. It depends. What's the rest of your build been? Or have you been going?
I went for Q range,
Okay.
or Q healing and cooldown reduction, then range, and then increase
hope.
to movement speed on our W.
Gain armor during drain home, reduce drain hope cooldown. Well, that's always fun. I mean, although you can try the ominous wraith if you.
Yo, I'm looking for direction here, not suggestions.
You're getting the wrong direction from me. I say you try that ominous wraith and see how that works.
All right, we'll do it. We'll do it.
See what happens.
So this is online already, right? Yeah, we lower their damage, so I can just
like this is a great. Well, everyone's going to die, so I guess it doesn't matter. But now you're.
There we go, nice. Boys. There we go. I would say that was a pretty ominous wraith walk. So I make up a lot of names for stuff in this game. You know, the spider butts.
Yeah.
You know, that kind of happened. For Leoric, the moment I saw him, I was like, "This is the creepy hand, and that's the creepy walk." And that's like cemented in my head, and it's so weird for me to call it wraith walk. Like because new viewers are coming in, watching the Gamescom stuff, and I'm like trying to accurately explain things. Okay. Hello. No, it has to be one of these. No, I'm saying it has to be a cup like that. Yeah. I'm getting drinks delivered by my friend.
That's nice.
Yeah. You've met Kai. She's nice.
I did meet her.
Okay. I am really happy about this patch. I know I probably seem like that, but just overall, I think this is one of the better content patches that's going to hit the game.
Yeah, I think that between the new hero, the reworks, a lot of the UI improvements, there's a lot of good stuff in this patch.
I also kind of want to know how my interview has teared up next to press just asking me things.
It's solid. It's very solid. One, because you have a lot of game knowledge, so you're able to ask the the good questions, and plus it's a much longer interview. So it's not even an interview. We're just hanging out.
We're just chilling.
We're just jamming.
We're playing games. We had dinner the other night. What did you get at dinner? I got steak.
I got the fricadelle, which I wasn't sure what that was at first, but apparently it's chicken.
Oh.
So
all right,
it was good.
We have royal focus now, so I'm lowering their damage.
See, there you go.
I pop out. Ideally, I would Q2 of them, and then I pop back in.
And now you get wrecked. No. Oh, almost.
I almost got out. I went really deep. I don't think my team was ready.
Yeah, they didn't. They thought you were going crazy, but no, you had a plan.
I did. I was about to use March, too, to get all that health back that I just lost. But yeah, I think that playstyle is so interesting because it really takes the, I don't want to say responsibility, but it takes kind of the damage roll away from you and says to your team, all right, I'm trusting you to do something with this. I'm relying on you.
Well, it's another cool way. Like, tanks have a few different ways that they can help out their team. One is just purely by damage mitigation in the sense that they can absorb the damage themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And then he's got some abilities where he'll actually let you reduce the amount of damage that they're causing by doing that Wraith walk through them. So it's just another way of kind of having a tank do his job, but just
a different way of doing it.
Yeah, a different way of doing it.
That we don't have in the game yet.
I think it makes it interesting.
Do you think Leoric is going to be a solo tank now? Because as he's in the game on the live servers, he's kind of like a off-lane brawler. You know, very good in solo lane and can bring a lot of damage and sustain to a team.
I think he could be. I think there's definitely an option that he could be, especially if he can manage to do those a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, these guys are getting blown up now.
Yeah, we're kind of core diving without the keeps dead.
This game might not have been the most balanced game.
No.
But
well, to be fair, the other ones we didn't have supports either, so. All right, we got to get out of that.
Oh, here comes the...
I think we're fine. Oh, that gains a lot of speed as it travels.
So the nice thing is if it's just on you by yourself, you're not going to take a ton of damage. The big thing about that one is it's the people around you.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, so I guess that's one thing that maybe people don't understand as much about Kel'Thuzad's Frostblast is it's not really Pyroblast. It's not a finisher. Mm-hmm. It's actually an initiator in the sense that...
Yeah, that makes sense.
The person who gets hit by it, they actually take a smaller amount of damage. But what happens is you have that big AoE around them. Mm-hmm. Everyone else gets rooted, and you get rooted, but gets rooted and takes a ton of damage. So it's a really good initiator because, one, it'll split up the team. Two, it'll potentially root and do a lot of damage to other people on the team. So where Pyroblast might be like the finisher, Frostblast is really a initiator.
That's interesting. And that adds more value to the level 20 talent where it explodes again than I may have initially thought, because I thought the main intention of it was to just do CC. I didn't realize that...
No, it does actually a significant amount of damage to the other players in the AoE range, but not as much to the... oh, this guy's going... Oh, we got out. It's Genji.
I kind of just want to go in. I kind of always just want to go in. Come here, little KT. Oh, we died mid-March.
So much for the healing.
So much for the healing. Someone in chat asked basically about characters like Cho'Gall and how unique they are. Can I poke your brain about some other unique concepts that we might see in the future?
You can poke my brain. I don't know that I'm going to answer you, but yes.
Yeah, I mean, obviously heroes that aren't announced yet are under strict lockdown.
Honestly, I love really unique heroes like Kel'Thuzad, like Cho'Gall, and I think that we're absolutely going to do more of them. We got to do them right, though. I don't think we're doing them just for the sake of doing wacky heroes.
It shouldn't seem cheesy.
No. Like, that's... As much as we always want to kind of push the limit and really make it like, oh, this is unique, this is exciting, it's something that you can really only get in this kind of a game, it should actually feel like it's adding something to the game. It should be compelling.
Yeah, for sure.
So I think we'll definitely do more in the future. And even, I think you're starting to maybe see us do it a little more, although we've done it with other heroes, but do it a little more with just normal non-BlizzCon heroes as well. So, for example, with Stukov and that massive arm,
yeah, I love that.
He's just a normal support, so to speak, but we'd love our normal state to be every single hero be unique. There's something that's just wacky about them and showy, while at the same time being actually viable and useful and interesting.
Were there any complications with the Stukov release, or things that didn't go quite right that you had to fine tune?
Stukov had a bit of some challenge getting him out, mostly not necessarily from a game perspective, mostly from an implementation perspective. He had a lot of funky things about him that made him a little more difficult to implement, and as a result, also created some more bugs as well.
Yeah.
But overall, I actually love him as a hero. I think he's a really interesting support. There's I think that's one of our goals is whenever we add nice. You thought you were going to get away?
I really did.
We're talking about Genji here.
But yeah, he adds a lot of interesting things that we haven't seen for other supports.
It's a support, but has a new mechanic to it. Spreading that disease, his silence, his arm, just everything about him is just kind of over the top and fun.
So the original, I heard this secondhand. So the original intention for Stukov was to not have everyone on the team be able to see the what is it, a pathogen above their head?
Yeah, so that was an interesting one. The designers are always kind of aware of what information they want to give to the player and what information is relevant to you at any given time. Mm-hmm. The original intention was that only the Stukov player actually saw those markers, and it wasn't everyone who saw them. And due to a bug that went out at the last second, it actually went out where everyone saw them. Then once it went out, we fixed the bug.
Yeah.
But obviously some people grew accustomed to those markers and actually really liked them. So I think where we are right now is we want to see how it goes with just that green effect that you see, which is pretty it's pretty noticeable, but I can also see how if you were used to the other thing...
I'm not going to lie to you, I never saw that.
Okay, well...
I just saw it for the first time, and I thought it was something that Leoric was doing, and I was like, what did I do?
That's his... I think maybe we got so used to the thing over his head.
To be fair, though, I am colorblind to light green.
Okay, so that's maybe a problem. Oh, nice.
Do you think we could ever see the day where March could be redirected? Like mid-March?
That would be a fun 20, maybe.
I think so, too.
I could see that being cool.
I mean, that was kind of a yes or no question.
I'd also love to maybe eventually we do some quests that do something different for heroics as well, specifically. Like, actually, we have some of that, like Malthael, we did that a little bit with his, one of his quests, and I'm now forgetting the name on. But
I don't play enough Malthael to tell you, to be honest.
But I could see us doing something where you pick a heroic, and then if you do something with it enough, eventually you unlock a quest that improves the heroic. Yeah,
that would be cool. And that's even if you did that at level 20, like having a quest tied to that, I think would be cool. Because that was something that would only impact the very, very late
game. Yeah.
Someone reminded me about multi-classes.
Mm-hmm.
So I have two questions.
Sure.
My first one is I'm surprised that Karazim, my most played support, is not considered a multi-class, considering the different branches that he can go at the beginning of the game. Is there any particular reason why he's labeled a support still? I know the concept wasn't around when he was made.
So the concept wasn't around, but there's also maybe another reason that is debatable. So I'll throw it out there, and you tell me what you think.
Okay.
When we talk about a multi-class, we really wanted to have a hero that genuinely had different roles. So in the case of Varian, we wanted the tank or the assassin difference.
Yeah.
In Karazim's situation, whether you go one way or the other, the belief is that he's still a support at heart.
Yeah.
And so from a multi-class perspective, it didn't really feel like it was necessarily, you know what, now he is a tank. Or now he is, he can take some damage dealing abilities.
We just got to see that level 20 reset for Kel'Thuzad.
He can definitely kind of alter within his role, but there wasn't this like straight departure.
He can still support.
Yeah,
he
can still support. So that's kind of the feeling behind it was, if we're going to call it multi-class, like let's actually make it where you're going down a completely different role. So, that's something that we tried to do with Varian. I think I saw some questions earlier, like whether we were going to do some more. The answer to that is yes.
Oh, okay.
We will do some more. We didn't go and introduce this whole new concept for just one hero, but the question is, what is the right hero, and what is the right set of roles?
Right.
So far, we've done kind of this dual role character. Do we want to do something even more? And what's the right time? So you'll have another. We'll just have to figure out when that character shows up.
With Varian, was it ever considered to give him his multi-class options at level 1? Or was it always like, see how the match is going, see how you want to react to this?
I think that was a bit of the design there, was really, sometimes you actually want to see what other players are picking in terms of talents and how the game is going.
Especially in quick match.
Where you want to see like, okay, you know what? We need to get more tanky. We're getting wrecked. I need someone in the front peeling. Or actually things are going pretty good. Nice.
Don't leave. I'll follow you.
Off cooldowns.
No!
It's Genji.
We had a little bit of core pressure, so I was trying to keep him there.
Yeah, or are we doing really well, and so I want to just start contributing to blowing up people as well. So, yeah, there's a little bit of that, but I think it was actually tried picking some talents earlier on that might have been heading towards his direction.
Are there any characters in particular that
Nice.
I could have killed him? Any characters in particular that the original concept is so drastically different from what we know now?
There are many. I'm going to do a bad job of telling you which ones they are because I'm probably not going to remember, but a lot of characters have, I mean, even Kel'Thuzad, he changed quite a bit.
What was his original
So the
idea?
one thing that I can tell you that he originally had was his level 20 with where he can leave those shades behind. That actually played a much larger role in his kit. And at one point, it was even part of his baseline quest.
Oh.
And eventually, we kind of switched it to be the way it is right now. But there's some ones that we've talked about in the past where, like, Kerrigan and Zagara had some differences in there. Like, I think Zagara had Ultralisk at one point, and Kerrigan had something else.
Yeah.
So
I know that, at least I think, if I'm remembering this right, Thrall's original kit was given to Rhaegar.
Yeah, there's been a bunch of changes like that. So, yeah, heroes have absolutely changed since their first.
Is the whole idea just to balance the abilities around the theme of the character, around the lore of the character, that kind of thing?
That is one of the factors. It's not the only factor. I mean, we're not going to sacrifice gameplay because we're trying to make some lore or fantasy hit. It's definitely a key factor, but if we think this hero, because of the role they're in, needs some certain thing, we will we'll also just push on that ability or talent. Yeah.
Okay. Well, we played 3 games.
Good job. GG.
I don't mind talking to you. Don't get me wrong. But I don't. I also.
You're telling me get out is what you're telling me.
No. I'm just saying I don't want to take up much of your time. I feel like it's very valuable.
No, I think I'm not sure what time.
No, by no means. I'm saying if he has other plans.
Look, let it be clear that he's telling me to get
I'm
off
not
his
telling
stream.
you to get off the stream. No.
He doesn't want me here.
No, it's my lawful good
No, I'm kidding.
inside. I feel like I'm taking you away from other people. I don't want you to leave at all, though.
Okay, tell you what.
We can keep playing.
Let's just run through like a series of chat questions, just all in a row, and then I'm just going to mic drop and peace out.
that
Okay,
one.
ready?
The one that's at me.
How do they feel about huge characters like Deathwing and the Old Gods? We tried to do it with Ragnaros. We actually wanted him to be even bigger than he already is. We think there may still be a a place for huge characters like that, but there's a ton of readability and gameplay stuff that we got to consider as well. So Ragnaros still becomes huge. I still love it when he becomes Molten Cord, which is awesome, but it's not like he's taken over the whole screen. So I think in the future we absolutely will try to visit that in the future and do it in a way where we don't break the game.
This has been very popular. I've heard a lot of people asking about Tyrael rework potential.
Yep. I will say that there are a lot of heroes that are planned for reworks. I can't speak to specifically if Tyrael is getting a rework, but the fact that you guys are all asking for one, there's a decent chance that that means he's on the list.
Let's go with this one.
You guys thought about I think it'd be awesome.
Victory poses.
I think it's a good idea. Absolutely.
Okay. Any thoughts on adding iconic monsters from the Warcraft game? I feel like we already have.
We have some. I think we could do more. I think there's definitely some cool heroes and monsters in there that we could add.
Okay, this one is important to me because of Team League. Are there any possible matchmaking updates to counter Smurfs?
I'm going to be premature, and I'm not going to give you the details
That's
right
fine.
now, but we're absolutely working on something right now. The team is working on some matchmaking improvements that we believe will, one, get you to your skill level faster, and two, also help in the case of Smurfs. So it's coming, but please don't yell if it doesn't come tomorrow.
Is there any truth to Stukov's kit having to be changed because Carbot's video was too close to the actual kit?
Yes, that is absolutely no. That is not true at all.
Let's see. We've had a few people asking about Valeera skins. Any new ones coming in the pipeline?
I think you may see some Valeera skins coming, and potentially one fairly soon.
Diablo's trait, most people want it to be activatable like the phylactery. Do you think that is something that could ever be considered? I think it was tested internally.
I think it may have been. We could consider it. I think there's also something about the fact that you can activate it, so you have to be a little more careful. But I'll take it back to the guys.
How's Hanamura coming along?
Hanamura is back in the shop. There's a lot of cool stuff on that map, and there's some stuff that we agree with you guys that we could do better on that maybe didn't work out the way we wanted it to. We're probably going to take a little bit of time on it. It's not going to come right back out immediately. It'll take a little bit before we get everything fixed up.
Were there any fun bugs during KT's development?
Yes, you can imagine chains being a new type of ability with this double skill shot that all kinds of bad stuff was going on. It's fun for bug reports and screenshots, but not fun if we left them in the game.
There's a lot of people asking about skins for specific characters. So could you just give us an idea of what the choosing process of who gets a new skin and when?
It is a bit of random chaos, darts thrown at the wall, data from our BI team, and what the artists really love. So, and also, who maybe hasn't had a skin recently also plays into it, but they're working on so many skins, so many awesome skins. Like, I cannot wait for you guys to see all the stuff coming out.
I'm not going to do this one as a question, but a lot of people want the Alarak announcer pack. I'm on board with that.
I am also on board with that.
I just want them to insult me all the time.
I think that would be cool.
I think that's all. I think we're good.
Okay.
I asked a lot of questions in the last 1 hour and 24 minutes.
That was a lot of questions.
Yeah, and like I said, I'm not kicking you out by any means.
No, I understand how it is. It's like
no, don't do that.
When the party's kind of winding down.
No, it's not winding down.
You're the last person, and like the host is like, "Hey, how's it going?"
Don't do that.
I'm just cleaning up.
I'm gonna be
just taking the bottles away.
They're gonna say that I'm the asshole here. I'm not trying to do that. I was just making sure
I get the picture. No, I'm kidding. I'm sure there's more stuff that these guys are actually asking me to go to right now. So it was very cool.
I enjoyed it very much.
Hanging out with you. Yeah. Good luck on the rest of your streaming.
Feel free to stop by anytime.
I will. I might just show up behind you and just troll you or something. So.
Well, you wouldn't be the first person.
Cool.
Thank you
guys.
Everybody in chat for asking great questions, and I hope you all enjoyed the stream.
Thank you.
Take care.